Hi, I'm Grant Kleiman from Darsana Martial Arts, and in this video I'm going to show you the thrust kick from our Martial Arts and Self-Defense Foundations curriculum. The appropriate surface to strike with is the balls of the foot, and if we can, we want to focus on the ball of the big toe specifically. It's important to be able to peel the toes back to expose the balls of the feet. Preferably, we want to slightly pronate the foot to put the pressure on the ball of the big toe. A good conditioning exercise is to simply practice lifting the toes from the ground and pronating slightly. Do about 15 or 20. At the same time, we need to be able to point the foot. And a good conditioning exercise for this is just a simple heel raise. Again, about 15 or 20 repetitions will do. Finally, we need to be able to put these together, floating the toes and lifting the heels at the same time, putting the pressure into the balls of the feet, preferably just the ball of the big toe. And a good way to practice this is to simply march in place while maintaining your balance and pressure on that point. Challenge yourself to stand on the ball of just one foot. Practice standing on one leg and extending your foot out to touch the target with just the balls of your foot. Advance this by pressing up onto the balls of your supportive foot and thrusting your hips. There are two thrust kicks, the rear thrust kick and the lead thrust kick. In my stance, my center of gravity is right between my 2 feet. So I'll need to shift my weight forward to the front foot to free the rear foot up to kick. Keeping my supportive heel flat and my center of gravity over it will rob me of range and power. I want to thrust my hips forward and my shoulders back to counterbalance as I kick. Additionally, I want to lift off of the heel of the supportive foot as I thrust to add power and range. The wave of power starts in the pelvis by scooping the tailbone under, and then allowing that to move like a wave through the leg that carries forward as you thrust. After the rear thrust kick is thrown, you can step at a variety of points to change the distance and angle from your opponent. This can allow you to avoid his counterattack or create a dominant position for follow-up attacks of your own. Once again, in my stance, my center of gravity is between my 2 feet. If I'm far enough away for a rear thrust kick, but I shift my weight back for a lead, I'll be too far away. So what I need to do is step my rear foot forward to bring myself into range from my lead thrust kick. If my opponent advances or I'm already in range, I can simply kick with the lead leg from my stance. After the lead leg lands, it can bring me into range to follow up with my hand strikes. My opponent's line of sight will allow him to see my rear leg stepping up from a further distance, so I need to mask it or hide it by throwing a blinding hand out in front of him. It can also just be a lead strike. This will allow me to get into range for my lead thrust kick, once again landing to follow up with my hand strike. Remember that an important aspect of generating power and range is to push off of the heel of the supporting foot, and that applies just as much to the lead thrust kick as the rear. After a lead thrust kick, you can use a pivot step to change the angle. Once you're comfortable, try integrating your thrust kicks into combinations. Find the optimal range for each tool you're using and mix it up. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Now go practice.